Hundreds of Barbadians take to the streets in a march against increased taxes, and in sport, Jamaica stunned Mexico to book a spot in the CONCACAF Gold Cup finals. I'm Dawn Paris, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Monday, July 24th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Join the Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
Scores of Barbadians took to the streets of Bridgetown this morning in a march intended to force the government to the discussion table on taxation. Trade unions are upset over the Frundle Stewart administration's decision to increase the National Social Responsibility Levy from 2% to 10% effective July 1st. The march is a joint venture between the island's 4 largest trade unions and the private sector. A number of businesses have closed for the day, while others have adjusted their opening hours to facilitate the march. Here's leader of the National Union of Public Workers, Candy McDowell.
Been trying to get the Prime Minister to meet with us so that we can put our request to him and so that our request can be implemented. Unfortunately, the Prime Minister has taken a position where he is no longer willing to engage in dialogue. So therefore, we are here to demonstrate that that is not acceptable, that there are partners that need to be engaged at all times. Once there are concerns of the workers or for the workers, we have to make sure that those concerns are addressed. And that is why we are here today.
Meantime, Prime Minister Frundle Stewart is making it clear that the march won't force his government to reverse the controversial increase in the National Social Responsibility Levy. Yesterday, he said he would do nothing to stop the protest and warned that his administration would not be blackmailed by anyone. Stewart made it clear that government would only review the tax if it failed to meet expectations.
So far as a march to force the government to reduce their tax is concerned, let me make it very, very clear. That is not on. If the government comes to the conclusion that the tax is not achieving the objectives which the government intended to achieve, the government will have to look again. But the idea of any entity, any business entity in Bridgetown deciding that when the government is going to impose taxation of any kind, you have to get their permission before you impose it, that is not on. And I don't believe, quite honestly, that the trade union believe that that's the way it should be done either.
Over now to Guyana, a massive manhunt is on for 13 men who escaped from the Lusignan prison between last night and this morning. 9 of the escapees were behind bars on murder charges, while others were charged in connection with robbery and gun-related charges. It's suspected that the prisoners may have dug a hole under the prison fence and were able to make their escape at nightfall. Investigations have started into how the men got out without being noticed. The public is being advised to take all necessary precautions and report all suspicious activities to the nearest police station. Members of the public are also being asked to avoid the lower east coast Demerara backlands until further notice and to remain calm but vigilant. The Lusignan prison was being used to house hundreds of additional prisoners who were moved from the Camp Street jail following a fire that destroyed most of that facility and facilitated a jailbreak 3 weeks ago. Speaker of the House in the Cayman Islands, Mkiva Bush, has apologized to the country following his arrest in the United States last week. Bush, who returned home late Friday, was arrested on battery charges in the aftermath of an incident in a casino in the state of Florida. Bush says he regrets the attention and concern that his wrongful arrest has caused to all concerned. The former premier is now awaiting word on whether he will be formally charged with battery, a misdemeanor that is punishable by up to a year in prison and a fine of $1,000 on conviction. According to Broward County Court records in Florida, Bush was arrested by the Seminole police last week Monday. The public records state that he was arrested on a misdemeanor offense. Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next.
So I'm kind of reading that message into your book, but I got it very strongly. This isn't a book necessarily for Indigenous people. They may know this history. It's for the rest of us. Why is it needed?
Yes, it's for everyone to understand, for the settlers, immigrants, to understand Indigenous people's experience of the United States and point of view. And as a historian, I wanted to really just call it the true history of the United States.
This is Jolly Phonics. It's a fun new program used to help infants develop a love for reading. Teachers and principals from selected primary schools are learning about this program to help improve literacy in their schools. Jolly Phonics is based on synthetic phonics, a method that focuses on how sounds are represented by letters, as well as how we blend or synthesize these sounds when reading.
We begin with news from the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Kimar Lawrence struck an incredible 88th minute goal to give Jamaica a shocking 1-0 victory over defending champions Mexico last night and secure a spot in the final. The Reggae Boys advanced to face host United States in Wednesday's championship match at Santa Clara, California. The U.S. squad had beat Costa Rica 2-0 in a Saturday semifinal. Before a large crowd at the semifinal at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, Lawrence curled a 24-yard shot with his left foot into the upper left corner past goalkeeper Jesus Corona to snap Mexico's shutout streak at 438 minutes. Jamaica goalkeeper Andre Blake was outstanding once again and earned Man of the Match honors for the 3rd time in the competition. The win avenged the Reggae Boys' 3-1 loss to Mexico in the 2015 Gold Cup final, when it was the first Caribbean side to reach the North American Regional Tournament final. And there was also some other reasons for Jamaica to celebrate yesterday. The under-20 Reggae girls closed their Caribbean CONCACAF Women's Championship Group B qualifiers with a 2-1 win over the host at the National Sports Center in Bermuda. Ebony Clark got both strikes for Jamaica in the 3rd and 63rd minutes, while Deshae Durrell pulled one back for Bermuda in the 58th minute. And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again this evening at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.